Welcome, Christian Warriors. I've got a serious shooting to talk about for you. The mission president of the Latter-day Saints was shot while he was at home during an attempted robbery in Mexico City. Now, look, this happened on Saturday the 16th at 2 a.m. local time, again in Mexico City. President R. Tyler Wallis was serving with Sister Elizabeth Wallis as leaders, mission president and companion of the Mexico City West Mission. Now, somebody broke into his home. He was shot once during an attempted home robbery. Now, he's currently in stable condition. He's receiving care in an intermediary care unit, and he's responding well to treatment. I saw on a LDS Facebook group that he had been shot just below the sternum twice, and the bullets only penetrated 2 inches. Now, I got to tell you, a 9mm bullet going only 2 inches into the body is pretty miraculous. I've been to a lot of shootings. If you're new to the channel, my name is Keith Graves, and I'm a 30-year police officer, retired with 20 years on SWAT, and I report on crimes occurring to Christians around the world. But one of the other things we do is we talk about what you can do to avoid something similar. We give you free training, ChristianWarriorTraining.com. It's my gift to you as a fellow follower of Christ. You can head over there right now, and you can get free training on keeping your church safe. Before I go into what you can do if you're serving on a mission in Mexico, about what you can do to stay safe, it'll actually be good if you're, no matter where you are, it's all good points to take. I just think we should take a moment to realize that bullet only going 2 inches in is absolutely a godly miracle. I don't think I've ever had a shooting where the bullet only went in 2 inches. Let's go into what you can do now. There's not much more to report except that, look, they've only been serving there since July. So, 8 weeks or so at the most that they've been serving there, maybe 6 weeks. It hasn't been long. But let's talk about what you can do to prepare yourself and your family if you go on a mission in a dangerous place. I'm going to talk specifically about Mexico. Before doing Christian Warrior full time, I had another newsletter in a training business, just training police officers, specifically people working narcotics. It was called the Drug Intelligence Bulletin. In fact, you can still go there, and I still have articles there. I am California's Narcotics Officer of the Year several years ago now, but I was a very successful and decorated narcotics detective in California. I reported on crime in Mexico pretty frequently. Crime in Mexico like this really impacts everybody in the United States. So I have a good idea about how you should act and behave and work in Mexico. It is definitely a dangerous place. And I know people are going to go into the comments saying America is more dangerous. It's completely untrue. If you feel that way, you should probably move down there and help the people of Mexico deal with all the cartel violence. The biggest thing that you can do, the number one thing, we're going to talk about 7 things you can do to protect yourself while you're in Mexico on mission. Number one, easiest, is operational security awareness. Now, look, you just want to be vigilant in your surroundings, especially in your high-risk areas known for kidnapping or violence. Now, look, this isn't the first time that the LDS has been attacked in Mexico. Back in November of 2019 in Sonora, Mexico, which is about 70 miles south of the U.S.-Mexico border, members of a local Mormon offshoot community, including dual U.S. and Mexican citizens from the LeBaron and the Langford families, were in a 3-vehicle convoy en route to a wedding when they were ambushed by cartel gunmen. Now, 9 people, 3 women and 6 children were killed, including 2 twin 8-month-olds. Now, 1 vehicle was set ablaze, and some of the victims were burned alive. Now, a cartel was believed to be involved. They were involved. I've seen some other intelligence show that they were involved, that they actually thought they were a rival cartel is why that happened, is the intelligence I saw a while ago. Now, the attack killed 8 members of that family, but multiple children survived and sought help under harrowing conditions. Now, one 13-year-old walked 14 miles to reach relatives, alerting authorities to the ambush. I think you have to be aware that right now cartels are kidnapping people at a very high rate. In Mexico City, there is a whole movement that is angry about Americans moving to Mexico City. You have to be aware of what's going on. The crime is very high. You got to remember, things aren't reported in Mexico like they are in the United States. So one of the things that you look at is the missing persons rate in Mexico. If they're missing, more than likely they were murdered and they were put into a vat of acid and melted and then poured out into the gutter. That's how the cartels deal with everybody. If you find a body, it's because they wanted to send a message. If you don't find a body, is because they just want to be done with that person. Their missing person rate is huge. If you pull that into the murder rate, they're probably number one in the world for murders. So you want to avoid routine patterns and you want to vary your travel times. Now, they were attacked at home. You have got to remember to lock all your doors and all your windows, and you have to fortify your home so people cannot break in. I know you're going there to spread the gospel, but the Lord gives you knowledge to fortify your home and gives you the tools needed to fortify your home to make it harder for somebody to break in. When you travel and move to other areas, I want you to travel in groups when you can. I want you to stay in well-lit and secure locations. You want to limit the movement after dark unless you just don't have a choice. Point number 3, I want you to have communication and check-ins. You need to maintain regular check-ins with mission leadership and family. You want to utilize secure, reliable communication methods to report the status and location of your group and your people. So that way people know what's going on all the time. A simple thing that you can do is carry an AirTag. Put an AirTag in your vehicle, but having an AirTag on you that other people have access to, or even having them be able to see where you are, putting your phone into the condition where somebody can see where you are 24/7 is a really good idea. I would do an AirTag and I would hide it like in a shoe or someplace that isn't, I can tell you right now, I've been searched before by criminals working undercover every time they found my gun, which is hilarious. But on a side note, nobody ever searches the shoes. So if you put an AirTag on your shoe, more than likely you're going to have your shoes on all the time, and then people can see where you are. You want to be aware of kidnapping trends. Now look, kidnappings, including for ransom, remain among the most pervasive threats, particularly in states like Tamaulipas, where the Gulf Cartel is absolutely entrenched. You also got past incidents such as the 2023 Matamoros kidnappings that reflect the severity of this threat. You have to be prepared for somebody to do an attempt kidnapping on you. Best thing you can do to avoid any kind of a kidnapping like that is just constantly look around. I remember today I was talking to a fellow church security team member, and every time somebody came out the door, I looked at him while we were having a conversation. And every time I looked, he turned around and looked, and I'm like, I'm sorry. It's my situational awareness. I cannot not look at people around me as they come by. I still carry on a conversation, but I look at every single person as they walk by. It's an unconscious thing that I do and have been doing for decades. I know it bothers some people when I talk to them, but I've avoided several violent incidents by doing that. You want to understand the broader security climate. Now, the U.S. has designated several Mexican cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and it's escalating the profile of these criminal groups. Right now, I've heard intelligence from DEA friends that the Mexican cartels have basically said they don't care anymore. If military's going to come for us, we have nothing to lose, so we're going all out. You need to be very aware of that situation as you enter these cartel areas. Now, the Trump administration is preparing military and intelligence options against cartels, including a recent drone overflight of cartel territory, which I have not seen in a while. People are saying there's no U.S. military action occurring within Mexico. I know that is untrue. I do know factually that there have been JSOC units in Mexico. You want to remain alert during heightened tensions, right? So military or law enforcement activity may ignite violent retaliation from cartels, often targeting civilians or U.S. personnel. So the potential for instability increases during cross-border operations, intelligence initiatives, or cartel fragmentation. Like right now, it looks like the Sinaloa cartel and CJ&G, the new Jalisco Generation cartel, are actually joining forces. I never thought that was possible, but yet here we are. It was not on my prediction card for 2025. And people are wondering, like, Keith, why are you talking about cartels so much? Because Mexico is a narco state. The government is owned by the narcos. The narcos run everything. That's just the way it is in Mexico, and that's the landscape. And if you don't understand the cartels, if you go down there, then you're going to pay the price. Now, I don't know what happened to the mission president. I don't know if he left the door unlocked and that allowed the person to come in, or they booted the door to come in, but an armed man was able to gain entrance to your home. You're living in Mexico. You are absolutely going to have to fortify the crap out of wherever you live so that they will get in eventually, but when they get in, that gives you time to escape out the back, escape out the side. I would not expect law enforcement in Mexico is a complete crap show. I would not trust the Mexican police. They are all on the take. They're working for the cartels. I would not trust any of them. Now, you should have training and emergency preparedness. Now, a side note, a lot of you people have been asking me for more prepper intelligence and tools and stuff because, Some of it may not be appropriate, I feel, to put on this channel. I am in the process of starting another channel. I got to think of the name. I was looking at Christian Warrior Prepper. I was thinking Keith Graves Actual. I don't know what I'm going to call it. Let me know down in the comments what you think you would call it. But this is where we're going to talk more about this stuff, training and emergency preparedness. We're going to go more in depth into you are working in very prohibited areas. The place you live becomes a prohibited area, how you survive, how you work, escape evasion, all that kind of stuff. I'll go over it over there, but let's just talk about it for a minute. Now, you do want to participate or conduct personal safety training covering kidnapping prevention and response, meaning somebody's got a hold of you and they're taking you. What do? Basic first aid and crisis communication protocols, right? So here, he gets shot twice in the chest. You need to learn how to deal with a gunshot wound to the torso, to anywhere really, and start working on that. So he gets shot twice. You know how to start dealing with that wound while calling for people to come help you. I think it's fine that you're in Mexico. I think it's fine to call the police, but you ever have a backup plan where you can call other people that could come to your rescue and come help you. For the missionaries that are in Mexico, there are companies that you can call. You have your sat phone and you can call and they will come rescue you if something happens. And they are staffed by pararescuemen who they're special operations that jump behind enemy lines to save pilots. They're former Rangers, former SEALs, special forces, and they will come get you. I would recommend to you as the LDS church that you look into that and that you buy into that plan. Many companies that I've worked with a number of companies when my private company, Graves and Associates, before I started doing Christian Warrior full time, where I consulted with them and set them up with companies like that so that if something happened, that their people could be rescued. You want to look at safe travel and evasion strategies. As an example, the Mormon family in Sonora, they got ambushed and 8 people died, and you had this 14 or 13-year-old that had to go 14 miles. If you have to do that, if you have to go 14 miles to go get help, you need to learn evasion strategies. Kind of think of SEER training, survival, evasion, resistance, and escape training that the military gives. Long term, somewhere down the road, I would love to do a SEER school for missionaries like this. You're going to Mexico. We're going to teach you SEER techniques just for you guys. I hope that we can do that one day. I am working on a SEER manual for all of you guys. Now, look, that's what I have for now. If you watched this all the way through, I appreciate you. Thank you. Here at Christian Warrior Training, all we talk about is church safety, safety for Christians, how to avoid something like this in the first place, or if it's unavoidable and violence comes to you, how to react to that violence in a biblical way, using good training to overcome that violence and to survive another day. As we leave here, I want you to pray for the mission president and his wife. It sounds like they're going to be okay, and it sounds like God definitely stopped those bullets from going farther in. And we are all thankful for that. But pray for his safety and all the missionaries' safety in Mexico. Mexico needs Jesus right now more than anybody. So pray for them. And then the other thing I want you to remember is your ABCs. Always be caring.